Everybody can go ahead and mute their mics so we can get started. That'd be awesome. Mute you up real quick. Okay. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Omi Jean Lewis. For you guys don't know who I am, and this is my wife Jada Jean Lewis.
Hello.
Tonight we'll be covering the contract to lease. If you do not know what the contract to lease is, hopefully by the end of tonight you'll understand the contract to lease and we'll be able to fill one out with no problem when you have to. Yeah, let's get this started. So Jada, you go ahead and throw the screen on so that everybody can see this contract.
Okay, we start sharing.
Oh yeah, with questions, guys, hold your questions to the end so that I'll be able to go through the entire presentation real quickly.
Are you guys able to see the contract?
Can you guys see our screen?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up, shake heads. Okay, perfect.
Perfect. Thank you.
So guys, this is called the contract to lease. So you have a rental client, you show them properties. Now they want to go ahead and submit an offer. So just like on a commercial property, you have to prepare an LOI. The contract to lease is like an LOI for a rental property. So now you can find the contract to lease in your transaction desk. We use Form Simplicity, but this is what it looks like, contract to lease. So the first step on number one is parties. Right here, you're filling in the name of the landlord. So now, for example, on the MLS, okay, how do I find the name of the landlord? You're gonna go to the listing on the MLS right here, and you're gonna click the I. The I is IMAP. Once you click IMAP, it's gonna open up the property tax record. And on the tax record, the owner is gonna be right here. So we took a lifestyle, listing, and we went ahead and used this one for our example.
Gotta show love to our family.
That's right. So that's what I simply is that. And I have the owner's name right here. And right here, you're gonna put your tenant's name. So usually with the tenant's name, you gotta get their driver's license to be able to put their name on it. Let's use Billy Bob, because we all know Billy Bob in our lives. Perfect. So that's the prospective tenant. So now on the bottom, agree to execute a lease agreement no later than. So this part right here, this is where you're filling in how many days you're giving them to respond back. Usually 5 days.
To respond back?
Yeah, 5 days, 3 days, typically 5 days. Well, in this market, we'll do the 3 days. So today's the 21st. We want to hear back by, let's say, Sunday, 3 days to execute the contract. And then right here on the bottom, where it says the lease would include the term set of paragraph 2 to 12 of the contract at lease and other mutual agreeable terms. The landlord will be the one who prepared the lease, not you. You're not preparing the lease. If you're bringing in the client, the tenant, the landlord will prepare the lease, so you don't have to worry about preparing the lease. Now, if you're on the listing side, you do. So right here. So we're making an offer for your client. You're letting them know, hey, look, once you get accepted or right away, they're gonna have to get a deposit. So usually the deposit is the first month's rent. For example, in this property, the rent is $2,450. So you want to go ahead and let the tenant know you're going to need $2,450 to put into an escrow account. So now, for example, for this escrow account, we're going to use New World Title. We have our in-house title company, and yes, they hold rental funds, so they'll be able to hold your rental funds for a transaction. So you go ahead and tell the tenant to write a money order or wire funds to New World Title. And New World Title is going to go ahead and send you the wire instructions to go ahead and do that. So far as property address, which is number 3, for the property address, you're going to find the property address, of course, on the MLS. Jada, do your thing. On the MLS right here, that's the property address. You copy, paste. It's already on there. We already did it. But just showing you where you go to get the property address. You just move that out the way. Yeah. He's very handsome guy right there. Yeah. Okay. So the property address, you put the address right there. And then this part where it says the property will be, it's furnished or unfurnished. On the MLS itself, as you look through the listing, it's either going to tell you the listing is going to come furnished or unfurnished, and then you go ahead and click. I think this one, for example, let's just click unfurnished. And then on this right here, any additional tenants that's going to be living with them, if they have kids or whatever, you go ahead and put them right here for additional tenants. And then now Jada's gonna go ahead and take you through the rest of these.
Alrighty, so when the lease begins, so at about now, we're on October 21st. So let's just say, for example, the lease began November 1st of 2021. Now, I would always say, look at the MLS to see how long the lease is, because normally it is a 12-month lease, but sometimes we have 6-month leases, right? But for this example, I'm going to do a 12-month lease. Now, the lease ends in 12 months. So we're going to go all the way to, I'll just go through these with you. So I'll go all the way to November 1st. But the lease always ends a day before it started. So it's going to end October 31st, 2022. All right, now next is money due before occupancy. Tenant will pay the sum of this at the time of occupancy, before occupying the property. Now this area right here, you can't click this, it gets filled once you fill out these below. So for example, let's do first month rent. First month rent plus taxes, advance rent. So they're moving in November, so they're actually paying advance rent for November. So we're gonna put November.
First month's rent.
Yeah, first month's rent for November. For this property is $2,450 they're paying. When is it due? Upon acceptance. Many times in the past, when I first got started, I used to actually put a date there. They'll take the deposit on the 26th. But then let's say that they accept it on a different date. Now you're back, you're crossing out, you're doing initials, you're being a great agent, right? So let's just do upon acceptance. So whenever they accept the contract, you don't have to go back and make initials and change anything. It's very just upfront to the point upon acceptance. Now we got last month's rent, right? Now we always know that rentals are normally first month, last month, and security. But I always want to tell you guys to go back to the MLS and see exactly what the agent wants. Now for this one, we're gonna go down to where it says right here, rent deposit, the rent deposit includes. So you see right here, it says first month and 2 securities. So instead of first month, last month, and security, they actually want first month and 2 securities. So in that case, I'm going to go right to security, and then I'm going to fill out, making sure it's on the same line. I get confused on which line it's on. I'm going to fill out security of $2,450. When is it due? Upon move-in. So just know the day that you do your final walkthrough, the day move in, it's due then. Now they wanted a second security. A second security is in here. The only thing here says security for deposit, but we're not putting the security isn't for deposit. The security deposit is not for the association, it's for the landlord. So we're gonna put here, second security deposit. And that is $2,450. When? It's due upon move-in, to keep it very simple. You don't have to change any dates or go back and forth. Now, back in paragraph 2, this is important that you fill this out. So paragraph 2 deposit will be credited as follows. Back at paragraph 2, this is where we get paid our commissions from. We get paid from the first month of rent. So we're gonna make sure this deposit right here, this security deposit, well, this deposit stating right here.
How much do we get paid?
At the bottom, well, we get paid $2,500. Well, no, we
Yeah.
get half the month.
Yeah, half the month. Yeah.
But I'll do that at the bottom. But yeah, we normally get paid half of the $2,450 or whatever they put. Sometimes they put on the MLS, you get 2% or you get 5% of the whole thing.
But it's usually half.
But it's usually half of the first month. So we're gonna make sure we put the first month rent to be $2,550, and that is what paragraph 2 is being credited to. So the deposit here is being credited to the first month right here, and that's what you get paid from. Now we're gonna go down to rental payments, taxes, and charges. So tenant will pay total rent for the lease term. The entire term is 12 months. So we're gonna take the monthly rental amount. I'm just doing it on my calculator. We're gonna take 2,450 times 12. The number that I got is 29,400. So that's how much they're gonna pay within the 12 months of having this lease. All right, now we got here, tenant will pay a total of taxes on the rent. Normally in residential leases, you do not, the tenant does, you're normally in residential yearly leases, the tenant does not pay any taxes. That might come up in commercial, but normally with residential yearly leases, they do not
Only
pay
on
taxes.
vacational rentals,
Mhm.
those usually have like some taxes you have to pay, but on your average year lease, there's no taxes involved.
Mhm. All right, now we got, when is it being paid? Is it being paid in full? Are they paying the whole 29,000 or are they paying monthly? In this case, 9 times out of 10, they're paying monthly. So we're just gonna put, because we put that the lease starts on the 1st, we're gonna put that the monthly amount, the monthly payment is due on the 1st. Now, I just wanted to give you guys an update and let you know that it does not always have to begin on the 1st. The reason I say that, let's say it's an association, the association takes 2 to 3 weeks or a little bit longer to approve your client, and it falls on the 20th. I would always say just put that the lease begins on the 20th and the payment will start on the 20th. If you do other than that, you have to prorate the first month and you end up getting paid less. And you did your full work. I don't think you should get paid less. So make sure whatever date it has to start on, just put that it will be paid on the 20th and every 20th of the month, and it will begin on the 20th of the month. And then right here at the end, you just fill out your 2,450 because that's how much they're paying monthly. Now for pets, now we always want to go back to the MLS and see if they accept pets. Now for this one, she put right here, no, they don't accept pets. So I'm gonna fill out on here, pets are prohibited. Normally they don't include smoking on the MLS, but I mean, it's kind of obvious. I don't think you want anybody smoking in your investment property, right? So I just put prohibited. Now, next, we got utilities, and Omi's gonna take over.
If they do smoke, it's low key, it's not on you, you know? That's your job, is prohibited. All right, zoom this thing up. Am I zoomed out?
Yes, no, this is just, you
All
make that little.
Okay, perfect. No, I want to see their faces. Oh, okay. Wait. Oh, there you go, guys. You know how technology be. So number 9, this part was right here. This includes everything that's included within the rent. So tenant will pay for all utility service during the rent, the lease terms, connection charges, and deposits for advertising. I can't see this. Got to move this little thing right here. Activated. So right here, existing utilities connection to the property except for. So usually you go back. Why is little bar? I can't hide this bar. So you go back and they have a little section right here that says rent pay includes. So this one is blank, but usually sometimes they have something in there. If it's blank, which is perfect for this example, you always want to make sure you contact the agent and see what's included. If it's a apartment building, or so usually they include water. Not all of them. So I don't want you to assume that it includes water, because I've done rentals where the apartment doesn't include water, nothing at all. So it usually is water, trash, cable. And for single family homes, usually they don't include anything. So if there's nothing included, you just want to make sure you put done. I tell you to check this because you want to put it includes water, and then you find out it doesn't include water, and then now your tenant's mad at you. So always check. On this section right here for the maintenance, landlord will be responsible for maintenance and repairs of the property, except for you put any repairs, any maintenance repair, under any repairs, under $100. If it's a single family home, sometimes it's more, 200, 300. So whatever, on that spot right there, that's what you're gonna put. You might come back and change it and bump it up a little, but this is just letting the tenant know what they're responsible for. So number 11, association approval. So if there's an association, an HOA, your tenant has to apply. The tenant has to submit an application for the association. So right here, of course, the landlord's not gonna pay for the tenant application. The tenant has to pay for it. And then you put how much it is, how much the application fee is. Usually, typically, it's $100. Sometimes less, but whatever screening fee that they have to pay, or no, this is for association right here. You put it right here. And then right here, it's the amount of days how soon the tenant's gonna go ahead and complete that. So I usually put 5 days, or you can, if you click the calendar, you can go ahead and put 5 days from there, but just letting them know that, hey, the moment, we get approved for this, within 5 days, my tenant's gonna go right away and submit an application. So you wanna show them you're serious, that the tenant's gonna submit the application. So right here in the additional term. In the additional term, this is where you're gonna list anything that, like your tenant wants to be done. So for example, the front door is broken, and let the landlord know the front door is broken, and landlord's okay, we're gonna repair the front door. Landlord agrees to repair, front door. or landlord agrees to repair screen on window. So you want to put there in there, or landlord agrees to, paint property before moving. So, making sure your tenant's good and everything, is handled. So that's what that additional term, kind of like on as is contract. Number 13, background check, credit check. That's, that's very simple. That's common sense. Those properties, they do background checks, they do credit checks on the tenant. So that just letting them know, they might do a background check or credit check. And if it's not good enough, they will exit out the contract. Service member, and then you'll get the deposit back, of course. Service member status. So if your tenant is a service member, you want to go ahead and check that box because it's very important. Because now let's say they got the lease and then now they have to go, they're called into service. So what that lets them do, that doesn't let them get evicted. And there's programs out there where it actually pays for the tenant, the remainder of the rent. So they won't get in trouble. So it's very important if your tenant is a service member, you go ahead and click that. So if not, you put no.
All right, now number 15, failure to perform. Now this right here, I do want you guys to read it to understand it, but it's very basic. It's pretty much, very simple. Pretty much just letting you guys know if the tenant fails to meet their part of the deal, if they default, their deposit is in jeopardy. So let's say, the landlord accepted this and then they decided 2 days later, I don't want this property no more. I don't want to apply for the association. At that point, they're in default. They didn't allow the association to even do a background check, and now they're just backing out for no reason. So their $2,450 in this case will be due to the landlord because they're breaking this contract.
Yep, this is a binding agreement. Always remember that.
Very binding. Now, number 16 is brokers. I feel like this is one of the most important parts too. So in this case, I'm going to put my name. Jada Stuckey. Matter name is Jean Lewis. But I'm gonna put Stuckey. That's what's still on my license right now. Now I don't know how many Jada Stuckeys there are out there. I mean, I pretty much just know myself so far, but just to make sure, I'm gonna put my license number just so they know it's this Jada Stuckey that has 3407001. That's my real estate license number. Now, lastly, brokerage. We're with Lifestyle International Realty. I'm going to put Lifestyle International Realty. And I just like to make sure me and the agent are on the same page because sometimes they might market one thing for commission and say another. So I want to make sure that I put Lifestyle International Realty and I'm putting 1 month. A half month. So we already know that $2,450 is divided by 2 and I get 1/2 of the money and she get 1/2 of it as well.
Protect the commission. They'll switch up on you. Save the listing agreement if you have to, because some agents out there, not lifestyle agents, other agents. We got lifestyle, we're good to people.
So when you go back here, as well too. So the next step too, now you're going to fill out that agent's name and their brokerage. So the prospective landlord's agent's name and the prospective landlord's brokerage, who they're with. So we're going to go right back to Matrix, and then we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom. At the bottom shows the listing agent.
Oh my gosh, she's with an amazing brokerage. I think I know them. That's Lifestyle International Realty Brokerage. Oh my God, they're so good. They're
right? Well, so I don't want to butcher her name, but Miss Rodriguez is with Lifestyle International Realty, and we took the time to feature her listing. So we're just gonna do Rodriguez. I'm not gonna butcher the first part, right?
These lifestyle guys, they got so many great agents.
And in this case, she is with Lifestyle International Realty. If it was a different brokerage, you'll put that brokerage at the bottom of the contract. So I'm gonna put Lifestyle International Realty.
It takes a while to write down Lifestyle International Realty, but trust me, every word is worth it.
All right, so now we got this part completed. I normally don't put the agent's commission. I just make sure I secure mines. They know who they are. They know what they signed with the landlord, but I just got to make sure what they put on the MLS is the correct thing.
Hey, put 1%. They may not look, then you keep the rest. No, I'm joking.
Now we scroll down to the bottom. The very last page is very simple. I'm not going to say basic, very simple. It's pretty much just saying that they agree to this contract. You have your tenant sign at the bottom, tenant or tenants, depending how many you have. They have prospective tenant's address and their telephone and email. I was just saying to another agent, I normally don't fill this out just in case there's multiple offers and you're giving another agent your client's contact information. And like we said, there's some sketchy agents out there, right? They'll try to go after your client. Hey,
Yeah.
if you come with me directly, I'll give you the rental
Mhm.
instead of you actually going, instead of you going with your agent. And
They'll
that
tell you
happened.
the property's not available more. Call that client. Hey, it's back on the market. You still
Yeah.
want it?
Yeah. So there definitely is some sketchy agents. So I just wouldn't fill out tenant's address. I wouldn't even fill out their telephone number or email. When the landlord accepts the contract and they become a tenant of them, then you can give all that information. But I just wouldn't, just to protect my sake in the deal. All right, then now you got the landlord's signature. The listing agent would obviously have the landlord sign because they're representing them. All right, and don't forget too, these initials at the bottom, make sure your client initials on every page 1 through 3. There's an initial
Go back up, yes.
at the bottom of every page 2, page 1, and then there was one at 3. So you just make sure your initials are saying they understand what's on every page, all the terms, There you go.
Yep, and definitely just practice. Go through it, understand the verbiage. So that way when you're ready to write down these contracts to lease, that's very simple, guys. It's very simple. And that's the contract to lease. So we're gonna open up now for some questions. I gotta figure out how to unmute you guys.
I'm gonna stop screen share.
Oh yeah, stop screen share.
I'm gonna go ahead and unmute you guys.
Oh no, I think you can unmute yourself. Ask to unmute. Yeah, you can unmute yourself and go ahead and ask some questions.
So we're gonna open up for the questions.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I just did a contract to lease yesterday. And I sent it over to the listing agent. And I didn't want to put the information for my client, correct? Well,
Yeah.
They sent it back, they rejected it. Not only did they want that, but they wanted the picture ID, everything else that would identify my client. So what do you do?
Okay, so initially when you're sending the offer for your contract, you always want to include the tenant's ID because they want to know, that's the person, not just, so they ask you for the ID up front. So some of the things that they ask you for, of course, a rental application with the tenant's name and information that's on it anyways. So I would include the ID. It's okay. And in that case, if they're requesting it, then give them the ID and them know.
Because then it would make a difference if you would fill out that last line or not.
Yeah, it wouldn't make a difference, honestly.
Well, as far as their number, they don't have their contact information, but they do know where they're there.
Yeah.
It'll take a letter to come longer.
And what do you use to have your tenants fill out an application?
Well, this is a particular individual that I got through Marketplace. And it was really fast. I had already showed her a property. She didn't go for that first one. Then she went to see another one with another realtor, but she called me back because she liked the way I dealt with her. So
Nice.
We made the contract to lease last night, and I did it through the transaction desk. So I was able to get her to sign it that way.
Okay, that's awesome, man. I told you these lifestyle agents, you guys are good, man. That's awesome. Congrats.
Congrats.
You can use Rent Spree. Rent Spree is really good. That's the one that we use. Rent Spree, it has a tenant application online. They can fill out for a background check and a credit check.
You're talking about the tenant screen?
Yeah. It's called Rent Spree. That's a really good one. They fill out the background check, the credit check, and it gives them a rental application with all the information and references. We use that for our tenant clients, and we have no problem. We get the offers accepted, and the listing agent for the rental usually love it because they have all the information up front. Now they don't ask or request for additional information, and it increases your chances of your tenant getting accepted.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any more questions? There's no such thing as a stupid question. Let's go, because we all learning here. If we're gonna be great lifestyle agents, we have to learn and ask questions. Oh, let's check the chat.
A huge question. A huge question I have now. I'm a new agent. I've already asked this question to Edgar and George. But so let's say that I send the contract to lease. What else do I need to send then on that package? The background check and the credit check, and then do I have to print out the paper with that, or how can I get that to the client for him to fill it out, or do I have to go and fill it out?
Okay,
So
every rental listing usually asks for the same thing. They want, of course, the ID, the background check, the credit check. Some of them do it themselves, but what I usually do up front for my purpose, and also that we're also qualifying our clients and we're not wasting our time. We use, just like I just told Jeanette, rentspree.com. On rentspree.com, when you go in, you can create a free account. And what that does, it allows you to create a link, a personal link where you send to your client, and there they can fill out a rental application. Within that rental application, they ask them, for references, their name, their address, all that stuff. So it's very organized, and also it does a background check, it does a credit check. So it's very easy, it's very simple. And then from there, once they pay for it, it's $30. You have them pay for it online, and $30, it automatically sends a report to you. That way you can look at their credit, because sometimes tenants, they forget and they tell you their credit score is this, but their credit score is that. And you go ahead and just submit an offer, and now you wait and do the background check. But with this upfront, you'll know what their credit score is. So that way, if the requirement on the property is 650 or higher, I'm not even gonna waste my time submitting, offer on here. So it's a really, really, really good tool. We recommend that everybody on here uses it, especially for tenants. It just saves you lots of time.
Can you type in what's the website on there?
Yeah.
And Paul, did you ask what you should send when you're submitting an offer? You said all the documents. Did you ask that too, or were you just asking about?
Yeah, no, I did ask that too. So it will be the CTL, it will be the background check and the credit check, ID, and what else?
And their 2 most recent pay stubs, if they're employed, and then if they're self-employed, their tax returns, or show a bank statement if their bank statement shows they have more money.
Now, this only applies to when renting directly from a landlord, correct?
No, you always have to show proof of income.
Yeah.
Those are basics. Because think as of you're a landlord. What would
Right.
I?
But as far as getting a client into a private building, that like a condominium that has multiple apartments and they have their own leasing staff.
So if they're working, if that condominium, like if it's a new construction condominium, and then they work as well too, they'll do majority of the work. They're going to ask them for proof of income as well too, and then you just sign an agreement that you get paid.
Yeah, those places, all you do is bring the tenant, and then they make sure that that's your client. You usually go with them, and they handle the entire work. You don't really have to do anything. Just like how construction works, kind of like that. Those are fun, but always make sure you check if they work with agents.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
On the parade of when it's a condo, no? That you need to wait for the association to be approved, okay? And you say in the contract, you put the day, for example, you put the day 27, something like that, no?
Yeah.
And then because you wanted to be paid, but if they wanted to move on the 1st, what happened?
So you just have to, you will have to change the date. That's a good question you bring up, because when you check the listing and it says association, time required to get accepted 3 to 4 weeks, be mindful to make sure you set your dates accordingly, so that way you can meet that time. But if you do pass it and you're still not approved, the only thing you have to do on the lease now, you just will have to change the date. Simply just scratch it out and just change the date. Or you can prorate. You just let the agent know, okay, of course.
Or you say if I prorate, I will lose commission, no?
Yeah, I was just saying.
So I don't want it to prorate,
You just move the date. You move the date, and then now, let's say you move the date to the 15th. Now, on every month on the 15th, they'll be paying the rent. It's a lot better, so that we don't lose on money on the commission.
But they need to accept it, or they can say no. I want the 1st, or they can choose the day, or no.
They're usually fine with that. They're not really strict. As long as you coordinate with the listing agent, you let them know, hey, look, they didn't get accepted. Let's move it to the 15th, and on the 15th, the lease will just start. Because at the end of the day, if they pay on the same day every single month, it's the same thing.
It's 30 days, exactly.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
Good question.
Omi, I have one more question.
Okay, Jada, that's for you.
On rentals, when it says 5% commission, 5% of what? 5% of the deposit? What is the 5% of?
I'm happy you asked that. Normally it's 5% of the entire term. So if it's 5% of the deposit, that would be ridiculous. That's like little to no money. So
It's like $130. That's why
That's like, what is that, right?
it's not worth me even selling the property.
Yeah.
So like doing the numbers for you, 2,450 times 12, times 12, that's 29, that's 29,400 times the 4%. So your,
5%.
yeah, sorry, times the 5%, your commission is 1,470.
So 5% of the entire term.
Yeah, 5% of the entire term.
For the entire total amount of,
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
of the 12 months.
sorry, I said it's
Oh, the
5%.
12 month?
Yeah,
Yes.
the 12 months.
Okay, so it's not a month. It's nothing to do about
No,
month.
no, not the
No.
month, the entire term.
Yeah,
The entire term for a percent, see 5.
Right, right, yeah. So you make
It's always 5. It's always 5. Oh no.
I feel like 5 is ideal, but it really depends on what the listing agent puts. But
Yeah.
normally
Okay.
they'll do 5, or they'll just do a half of the first month. Rent.
Normally what you'll see is half of the first month. A lot of them are half. That's typical.
Okay.
I take 5 any day, that's more money.
Yeah,
Really?
a little
I
bit.
like that.
It's a little bit more, couple like 200, 100 more.
Yeah.
Mm.
So guys,
More money, no problem, right?
No at all. But is that apartment belong to another agent?
Yeah, so that's actually an agent at Lifestyle. We actually
So
decided.
it's gonna be 2.5, or how is it gonna be?
What do you mean, the payment, the commission?
The commission is belong to another, if it's 2 different broker agent on the
Yeah,
apartment.
So the listing agent, like the listing agent, so if it's a different brokerage, it's the same exact thing. So let's say they were with Broker Nation. If they're offering 2,500 and they're offering to pay you half of the month, it's still the same thing divided by 2, 1,225.
Okay.
Yeah, no
You
matter
get
what.
half,
Yeah.
the other isn't good half.
Oh, okay.
no,
Yeah, you get half and the other isn't good half. So it's half. That's how you get paid on the
Yeah.
first month's rent. She just went about her money. She's like, how did I get paid?
For real.
I'm here for the money, by the way.
I'm here for the houses.
hello.
I'm accountant, by the way.
Oh, you're an accountant. All right, I see.
So Rob,
Special guest in the house.
Boss Man himself is in.
We're done, man. We're done.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Talking?
I don't know if this applies or not to protect my client. In other words, this literally happened to a friend of mine. Where do you put on the contract to protect them? Whereas, let's say, for example, when she left her at the end of her term of her lease, they did an inspection and they took some of the security deposit because they said there were some dents on the refrigerator and some spots on the carpet or whatever. But according to my friend, she didn't do any of that stuff. So where do you put all those things on the contract to protect your client so they don't keep part of that deposit? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
That was at the end of her lease, right?
What?
That was at the end of her lease when like she was done.
Yes, at the end of her lease. And they kept like $700 plus from her security.
The deposit is there for that reason. You know, if the tenant damages, they go ahead and take that. So on your final walkthroughs, that's why it's very important that you have your final walkthrough sheet and you go throughout that property and you check. I take pictures and everything, you know, make sure, you know, you go through the kitchen, you take time through that, you make sure you're observing anything. And also you let the tenant know as well too, hey, take pictures. When you first move in, take pictures to make sure if anything's broken or dented or cracked, that way you let them know, hey, look, it was already like that. I didn't do that. So when that time comes and the lease is over, when they come back and just say, okay, hey, this was like, you know, you messed this up, this and that. No, I have the pictures right here. I have that. So in the beginning, that falls more on you, you know, because you want to do your final walkthrough. But if you do a phenomenal final walkthrough, everything is good. You have that paper. Towards the end, of course, the tenant can do something. It can break stuff and whatever. That's that. You can't control that. But as long as you know you did the final walkthrough, everything was good, and let your client know to take the pictures. That's what really helps a lot. Take pictures because towards the end, you want to make sure they would get that full deposit back.
Yeah.
Can I say something? It's
Yeah.
okay in the contract from the beginning that we do the walkthrough, no? We can mark on the contract, this is damage on the
Yeah, that's what
contract.
I was saying. Where do you put
Yeah.
that from?
So,
Final walkthrough sheet. So
No,
yeah,
the beginning,
so at the beginning,
in the beginning, when you go to rent the apartment, you see, and you know, it's like when you rent a car. You see that this is damage. You can you add that to the contract in the beginning. So in the end, she will not have to pay for something that she did not do.
Correct.
yeah. So the additional terms on the bottom, remember the on the line 12. Let me go ahead and show you guys.
Sure.
Oh, so that's where you would, under the additional terms, you would put all the
Mhm. On the
damages that you
beginning,
see on that line.
exactly.
You're just going
Okay.
through the property, additional terms on line 12 right here. Because remember, if you're viewing the property and it's cracked and you're submitting an offer, or whatever stuff is broken, you want to put that in there. You know, landlord will repair. You know, cracked tile or whatever. Something is major. You let them know. But it's also on the final walkthrough. You want to go ahead and make a note of all that stuff as well too. You know, so that way you know it's on there. And if any additional, because you know sometimes you go and then everything's not done, and we requested for this to be done and moving. Once you put it on that final walkthrough sheet as well, that's, you know, letting them know, hey, look, we did the final walkthrough, tenant moved in, and this still wasn't done, and you guys agreed to do this. So that way you have everything on paper. But that additional line right there, when you
Yeah.
first go, you put it.
Mhm.
yeah, and you want to put, like I filled out right here, landlord
Mimi,
repair the right here, landlord agrees to repair the following: cracked tile. You can put where it's located in living room.
exactly.
If there's mold, treat mold in shower. So that's so upfront. If you want them to fix that right away, I definitely would say put it in here. And then, like he said, backtracking with the walkthrough, just make sure you do a thorough one, notate it, and also send that walkthrough and the pictures to the listing agent as well too. So it's already documented. They had it 12 months before.
Thank you.
Okay, got it.
Muchas
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so since y'all was talking about the additional terms and what to put in that area, it's really small. Like if you had an apartment that needed a lot of work to be done before you could move in, is it a place where you can say see attachment or something like that, or any wording that you can put there?
I would just try to, you know, word it as small as possible, as least as you can. Because with everything that needs to be fixed, I'm sure you can fit in there. If you need additional space, you can write it on the bottom as well too. Or right here, actually.
Yeah, share it again.
Oh, sorry, let me share it
Let me
again.
reshare the screen again. I cut it off, you guys.
'Cause there is a blank spot on the, hold on, we'll share it again so you can see. You minimize it so you can see it.
Okay,
Yeah.
give me 1 second, you guys. Share it. All right, right here.
So 12 right here. So you'll try to word it, you know, as correct, and you use up as much space as possible, less space as possible. But if you do need more space, just put it right here.
Exactly.
Yeah, right here.
Put it right down the bottom.
If that's not enough space for you, then you need to be a journalist, because all them words, that property needs a rehab or something.
Yep, and right here it states too, if it's not enough room, you or your attorney must make any addendums to the lease. So you can add on an addendum to it. You find that right in Form Simplicity 2 or Transaction Desk. Look at the form, ask for an addendum, and add in that too if you need more room.
Can I ask a question? If we put whatever she say, you know, like they need to be done corporate thing before you move, okay? The contract end or no? If they don't do everything they're supposed to do.
If they don't, say that again, we'll say that again.
If
I'm
they
sorry.
don't do, supposedly, like the question, I forget the
Yeah.
name. Okay, and then you put that note over there. This thing need to be done before I move. Okay. Supposedly, they didn't. They didn't finish the job.
Yeah.
What happened to the contract? What happened to the commission? What happened to everything?
So you don't have to pay them. I mean, like it's stuff.
But we don't pay. They don't pay us either.
Right. So you don't have the tenant don't have to pay them, but you want to make sure that issue is resolved. So what you can do is extend the date, switch it to another day, because that happened as well too. We had a tenant where there was mold in the fridge, and they needed to clean the place. It was all dirty. So what we did when we showed up for the final walkthrough, nothing was done. So what we did, we just told them, hey, look, we can't take it like that. What we're gonna have to do is reschedule the final walkthrough so you guys go ahead.
Okay, if the tenant don't want to move at all because she didn't complete the job, what happened with the contract?
That's where your skills come in. You know, you try to save the contract, you want to get paid. You work this hard to make it that far.
Oh,
So you know, you always try to work together with the other agent to go ahead and resolve the problem.
okay.
As long as the place is not falling apart, the roof is crashing down, and we can easily resolve the issue. Can try
Okay.
to resolve the issue.
Okay, positive. Okay, I like that.
I got a question.
Also, you guys, really quickly, I'm sorry, when you fill out this part is too for repairs, make sure you put, landlord agrees to repair the following crack tile located in living room prior to tenant occupancy. So make sure you put that prior to tenant occupancy.
Yeah,
Alright.
so positive, try to work it out, make it happen, unless it's not really messed up. Then, and if in that case, let's say they don't want the place no more because of that and they didn't perform, then your tenant could get their deposit back and move on.
Okay, and we don't get paid.
No, you don't get paid. That's no bueno. You want to get paid. It's already,
Exactly. I say we don't get paid.
yeah, with the real estate license, you're a psychologist and problem solving.
Yeah. Okay.
We got to make it work. Good questions, guy. Really good questions.
I have one question to that scenario that just happened. What is the time period that the landlord has to repair? Is there like a period of time, like 2 weeks, 1 month, or what?
You said, is that doing before you do the final walkthrough, or like you talking about if you go back in and the repair wasn't done? You talking about
After you walk through, I would say after you sign the contract, you see this. So how long do they have to repair?
whatever you guys agree upon again? So when we came back and everything wasn't done, so we just told them, hey, look, we'll extend it for another 2 days. So that whatever they're flexible with. So we asked the tenant, like, okay, well, how long do you want to expect, and then I think it was like we gave them like 3 extra days or something like that to get it done. But whatever everybody agree upon to get it done. You don't want to, super long and like, no.
Okay, 3 days? That's all they get? Okay.
Yeah, 3 days. I mean, it was whatever you give them, but I'll try to give them as least days as possible so that way they're urgent to get it done.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Omi, where are you located?
I'm in Aventura right now, the new Aventura office.
Oh, you are in Aventura.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
No.
How many rental contracts you already done? Did
Oh,
a lot.
Rental contracts I've already done.
A lot.
A lot. Yeah. No, rentals are like very, very simple. It's very easy. I definitely recommend them, especially for people that's in the business, even if you've been doing this for a while. Why
No,
would
I'm started. I need to do rental to make money until I sell houses.
That's easy. Like you can get this done. Like some rentals that like you can move in right away, like 3 days. I had clients where I done rentals for, and then
Okay.
the next day.
Okay.
That's easy money. You get paid half the first month's rent. That's right away. They're closed. So while you're working on your other transactions, to wait for them to close to get paid on your stuff,
Exactly.
put money in your pocket with these rentals. So
Okay.
the way we created our system, so it's so easy. We already qualified a tenant, everything, make sure they're good. We get the pay stubs, everything up front and all that good stuff. So it's very easy, it's very smooth. So yeah, we do
Okay.
rentals.
What do you do to find your suspects? What do you do?
This is a contract.
It's something wrong. It's something wrong. Ahora.
So we get our business overall is a lot of referral based, but a lot of the people that I do get is off of social media. So I market heavily on social media. We run ads, and also as well too, like whenever I go out to show a property, rental or whatnot, I'm always posting on my stories because people are always watching what you do. So you always want to make sure you keep them engaged. Of course, if you're not posting like actual posts on your thing, that's what the stories are for, your daily activities. So if I'm showing a rental property to my client, while I'm showing to the client, I show up early. I get there before the client and I put the rental property for rent 22 1,700, you know, and I posted on my story. And people are like, oh my God, where? I'm looking for a place. So I always have activity level on my social media really high, and then also as well to the Facebook Marketplace. That's a great place. When I first
What?
was still doing
I'm new.
there.
What is marketplace? I'm new. Marketplace.
There's an entire training on that, so I'd be more than happy to send it to you. Afterwards. I gotta find it. There's a link in here. Facebook Marketplace. You know, on Facebook, there's a marketplace where you can post.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. That you sell stuff, no?
And once in a while, too, they do the training over, and it's phenomenal. Like that's like free leads.
Okay.
All right.
So you are in Aventura. Everybody's in Miami, no?
No, I'm in West Palm.
Everywhere.
Huh?
We're
I'm
everywhere.
in,
National Realtors. You know, there's 14 different offices.
Oh,
Working out of Aventura, you know, there's Miami Lakes, Homestead, all that good stuff.
oh.
Mm-hmm.
and I apologize. I have another training to go to at 7, so I'm gonna have to say good night. Have a nice evening.
Man, you guys are hungry for questions,
Hey,
man.
Sergio had a good question in the chat. There's a pretty good question I'm curious about. If you could check that out.
What I had to do if the lease tenant must have renters insurance. So if they need renters insurance, then they need renters insurance. Renters insurance is very cheap, guys. It's like for the entire year, you're paying like $100, $200. So all
Yeah.
they have to call, an agency, look up renters insurance, and they get renters insurance. So, and it's a good thing as well too, because renters insurance protects the tenant if their stuff gets damaged, if it's flood or whatever. So it's not it doesn't cost that much. It's very cheap.
Yeah, and if you're looking for mostly the listing agent or the property management company will provide it. If not, you just literally type it in on Google, renters.
Yeah, you go
renters
online.
insurance,
You go online. You find it online.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So, guys, man, thank you for all the phenomenal questions. Thank you for the additional questions. Hope you guys
Beautiful.
get value out of this, and definitely be on the lookout. Stay tuned.
No, it's good. It's good.
Always a lot of phenomenal trainings. We always try, our best to bring so many different areas when it comes down to training for you guys. And we're all about learning and growing. And if you guys need any additional help, feel free to reach out. We're here to help you guys. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
I'm gonna keep your number, your name.
Okay,
I'm gonna-
perfect.
Oh, send me an email. Felix is my.
Felix will get you in contact with me. Felix is.
Felix is the best.
All right.
He's gonna make you contact with you guys.
Okay, awesome. Nice meeting you all.
Bye.
All right, bye, guys.